Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Hello on Instagram, hello on YouTube, hello on Facebook. Today, we are going to be talking about how to use Earthtones products, but first, I did a few reels on the weekend because I was getting my hair done. And I I didn't know how I wanted to wear my hair. For the entire week, I've kind of been wearing my hair in twists or some type of style. And I wanted to figure out how to wear my hair. And I said to my daughter, who's right here, you can't see her if you're on IG. I said to her, I said, "Do you mind doing my hair?" And she's like, "Sure, I can do it." And she's never, ever, ever done any type of single braids, any type of braided extensions before. Was just really practicing her skills on mannequins or on my youngest daughter's hair when she would wash, condition, put hair butter in her hair, and then twist it up. So that's the extent of her practice. So it was a big task when I asked her to style my hair. And so I just started out with, okay, maybe can you part it? Can you just practice parting on my hair? Then she parted it. And then I said, okay, you know what? Do you want to maybe try to do it? And I showed her the method of how to do large box braids with the crochet method. And she did it. And so, to be honest, I was shook. I was going to wear my hair no matter how it came out, but she did such an amazing job. And my commentary on the whole situation is that I'm so proud of her that she stepped up. She stepped up to the plate to do this task. And I just wanted to bring her on just to get her perspective on it and how she felt. So, hi, Nisa.
Hi.
So I want you to tell me how you felt when you asked me to do your hair.
Well, I guess I was excited because I wanted to practice doing hair for a long time. And now I actually got to practice on somebody, and it's different when you have a mannequin because our mannequin doesn't have natural hair. So it was easier for me to do it on my mom's hair, I'm pretty sure, than the mannequin's head.
Okay. So what made you think that you'd be able to actually do the braids because you never did it before? It was like your
Well,
first time.
first, I saw you do it before, and then also when you showed me how to do it, it was actually easier than I thought it would be. Instead of adding all the hair, since she showed me the crochet method, it was way easier than the actual box braid method. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be easier and it's gonna be fun and stuff. So it made me want to do it more, I guess.
Okay. And how do you like how it turned out?
I think that I think it's good, and everybody's saying it's so good and stuff, but I think I could have done a lot better. Because
But you do realize it's your first time, like
yeah,
ever. You remember the first time I ever did your hair?
yeah,
And
and it was still good though.
And for the record, though, I am not a professional braider at all. In fact, I learned to braid on my kids' hair when they were older. I was scared, so scared of doing their hair because I didn't have the skills. I had no braiding skills. I had no cornrow skills. All I could do was what I could do, which was twists or plaits. And that's how, or puffs, and that's how they rocked their hair for the longest time. But I said, you know what? Let me try doing braids with extensions, and I practiced on their hair. They allowed me to practice, and every single time I did it, I got better and refined my skills. And this is what I did for her on Sunday, which I think is pretty damn good. Like it looks good. This is one of the best I've done. I've learned from this style, the type of hair to use and, how long to make the braids, but every single time I'm getting better. And I want you to know that for the first time for you doing hair, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you did such an amazing job. And I just wanted to get a sense of how you felt and how you thought that you could, do someone's hair and go out in public. Because I am going out in public with it. What would you do differently next time?
Well, first I would have to make well, I would have to work on my parting skills and the parts more straight and stuff, because when I looked at it now and stuff, I don't like the way I parted it.
It's fine.
And then the second thing is I should make my braids tighter, because for a couple of them they were pretty loose and it didn't look as tight as I want it to be. So the next time I'll do her hair, I'll do those two things.
I think your braiding was great. It did take a long time, so you're probably tired. But your grip game for the actual braids itself was on. And she used our smooth control our Sleek Control Smoothing Gel to smooth the hair. So that was on point too. So you've got it. It's just practice from here on in. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations, Nisa.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Thank you. All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. So yeah, my hair was done by my daughter, and I think I'm going to get her to do it from here on in. I told her I'd pay her $20 to get my hair done. I don't know what braider you could pay $20 to get, this done, but that's what she's getting. And I think she did an amazing job, and I just wanted to come and show you her work. It's better than what I could have done on myself. So that's just a follow up to the video that I did on Instagram, or the videos I did on Instagram this weekend, where my daughter was parting my hair and I'm showing off what she did. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's amazing. All right, so now on to today's live. What we're going to be talking about is how to use Earthtones products properly. We get a lot of questions either through Facebook or Instagram or email or even on our chat about how to use products and what products to use for specific hair types and textures. So I want to go over that. I think it's really important to really understand how to use them, the best practices, how the products were intended to be used, and various tips and tricks. So I want to start out by saying that the Earthtones hair care system is based on a 4-step system. We make it very easy to kind of figure out the products to use on your hair. It's based on cleansing, conditioning, moisturizing, and styling. Those are the 4 basic steps. Anything else that you do on top of that is just extra when you have those 4 basic steps down. There are a lot of things that people will do, like they'll do apple cider vinegar rinses, they'll do baking soda rinses, clay masks, etc. Those are not bad. In fact, a lot of people that do those specific steps will get great results. But I believe in making things simple just to get the basics down so that you understand how each step and what products to use in each step will work to fit into a healthy hair regimen. So when you've done that and you've used products in a different way to achieve a specific result, then you can start to incorporate things like masks and apple cider vinegar rinses into your regimen, as long as you understand what they're used for. And what I find when I do a lot of consultations with clients is that they're not understanding why they're using a specific product, and that's extremely important. A lot of times what can happen is you'll get caught up in the marketing of the product, the name of the product, and not understanding the function of the product. So our system, and when we actually teach this during workshops, is we base your product selection on what's called an if system. So if, so that's I and then 3 F's. So that's ingredient, function, first 5. So ingredient, function, first 5. What that means is the ingredients will dictate what the product does. So forget the name. Forget the name of the product. The ingredients will dictate what the product does. The function will be decided by the ingredients that are in the product. And then the first five ingredients are typically it will typically tell you what the product is going to do. Okay, so just remember that if ingredient, function, first 5. So in general, the 4 steps you're going to follow, and that's if you use Earthtones or if you use any product line, you want to follow 4 basic steps. You want to cleanse your hair, you want to condition your hair, you want to moisturize, and then you want to style it. The style and moisturize product might be the same. It just depends on what you want to do with your hair. So what I like to do is I kind of like to work backwards. So my cleansing and conditioning steps are set, but the product I'm going to use in my hair for my leave-in will be based on the style I want to achieve, and the style I want to achieve will determine the styling product I want to achieve. So I kind of work backwards that way. So once you tell me, okay, this is the look I'm going for, I can tell you this is the product that you're going to need to use. Once you tell me these are the things that I'm struggling with my hair, then I can then tell you these are the products that you're going to use to address those specific concerns. So every time you choose a product for your hair, whether it is Earthtones or another product line, you want to marry the function of that product with your hair's needs as well. All right. So what I'm going to start with, I'm starting out with the cleansing, and we have 2 cleansing products, and I'm going to start with the light cleansing and then more cleansing. So one of our most recent products is the Detangling Co-Cleanse. So right here, I'll hold this back a little bit. Okay, Detangling Co-Cleanse. Looks like this. This is the pump. So that is a light cleansing product. It has a small amount of surfactant in it, so a small amount of cleanser in it. So it's going to lightly cleanse the hair. The main purpose of this specific product is if you need to detangle your hair. So the story behind this product is my middle daughter, she has very fine hair that's really, really, really coily. It's the type of hair that gets matted really easily if braids or any type of style is left into her hair for too long, and I don't detangle it. And one day I made the error of not detangling her hair as soon as I took the braids out of her hair. And it was a mess. It was a matted mess. And, you know, it took me about an hour and a half to detangle her hair. And I think what I did is I washed it. I put a conditioner in it. I put the conditioner in it, but I didn't have time to really spend detangling it. So I just pretty much like twisted her hair, knowing that I'd have to spend time after the deep conditioning process, twisting it and detangling it. So after she did her deep conditioning treatment with the heat cap, it took me about an hour to an hour and a half to detangle her hair. And she has fine hair and it is pretty low to medium density, so it shouldn't have taken me that long. And so after that, I made notes to myself that every time her hair comes down out of a style, it has to be detangled right away. And so I was searching for a product that would do that. Our hydrating conditioner is great for detangling, but this one is even better. This one is, in terms of the conditioners in the line, is the best for detangling the hair. And so that's what inspired this particular product. And through trial and error and different methods of styling my daughter's hair and different wash day methods, what I have come to in terms of a conclusion is detangling. If your hair's super tangled all the time, or it just tangles up very easily, detangling prior to washing your hair with a shampoo is the best option. And I'm going to explain why. A lot of people, what they'll do is they will cleanse their hair. So they'll shampoo it and their hair is out. So they'll cleanse it freeform. Then they'll go to put their conditioner in and they'll detangle their hair freeform. Let's say they leave in the conditioner for maybe 10 minutes while they're detangling it. And then what they'll do is they will then wash the conditioner out again, and then they detangle their hair again because it gets tangled, and they're baffled as to why it's getting tangled. Well, the reason their hair is getting tangled again is because once your hair is wet, and especially if you have really kinky, coily hair, what happens is the hair shaft swells as it takes in water, and the swelling causes the twists and the turns and all the coils to coil up on themselves and the ends to coil up on themselves. So that's why when you detangle your hair and you don't do something with it to keep it detangled, once you wet it again, it tangles again. And so now you're detangling 2 to 3 times during a wash cycle. Whenever I consult with anyone and their primary goal is length retention, I always tell them you detangle 1 time during your wash cycle. You'll detangle either before you shampoo or after you shampoo. Choose which time, but it's only once. The reason is that the curlier your hair is, the less stress it takes to break it. So the more you detangle your hair, whether it's finger detangling, brushing, combing, whatever it is, the more stress you're putting on your hair, especially in the wet state, and the more breakage you'll experience. So now what I do with my hair and my kids' hair that saves me tons of time on the back end of their wash cycle is I detangle prior to washing. And this is where the Detangling Co-Cleanse comes in. So what you would do is you would detangle. So you would spray the hair with water. So let's say I took my braids out of my hair right now. I would take them out. And as I take them out one by one, I will mist the hair with water, one section of hair, and I will add the Detangling Co-Cleanse on. Yes, I add it to dirty hair. It's fine. It's not a problem. And I will feel the slip. I will take my detangling brush. I'll detangle that section and then I'll twist it. The key after you detangle your hair to prevent it from tangling again is to twist your hair. You either twist it or you braid it. That is the key. And so what I do is I will pre-detangle prior to washing. My whole head is detangled and I might walk around for 2 days like that. So let's say I'm going to wash my hair on a Saturday. I might do it on a Thursday because I know that once my hair is detangled, everything is easy breezy. So I'll put this in, I'll detangle, I'll twist. You can let it dry in if you want. It's not a problem, but it eventually does need to be washed out because there is a surfactant in it. So I will wash it out, but I'll wash my hair out in twists. So I do not undo my twists to wash it. All right. So that is where the detangling co-cleanse comes in. Now, you can also use this after shampooing. So in terms of where it fits into the regimen, it's either prior to shampooing your hair or after you shampoo. So, oh, it's right here. So the other cleansing product is going to be your moisturizing and conditioning shampoo right here. I know it's a bit bright, so you can't really see. So this is the product. So that is your shampoo, your cleansing agent. It's a pretty gentle cleanser. It's a conditioning shampoo, but it's not a 2-in-1. Now, some people have asked me that. The only time I use it as a 2-in-1 is if I'm using the hair butter as a leave-in product. So that's the only time, or if you're using the coconut moisture milk. And I'll get into why when I get to those products. So I'll use the moisturizing and conditioning shampoo after I use my detangling co-cleanse and my hair's twisted. So I will lather it 2 or 3 times with the hair in twists. And on the last lather, I will undo my twists one by one and I will rake the product through, the shampoo through just like this. And I will rinse and then I'll retwist. So I spend a fair bit of time on the cleansing stage. The reason I do that is because my hair tangles very, very, very easily. And I want to make sure that it's properly detangled and set for the next steps in my regimen. So once I spend the time prior to shampooing detangling, everything else is super easy. So those are the 2 cleansing products. Light cleansing is the detangling co-cleanse, and a little bit stronger cleansing is the shampoo. Another thing about the shampoo is it's great for shaving. It has a lot of slip, so there's no need to really go out and buy a shaving foam. You can shave with it. It's amazing because it's so slippery. My husband, he has no hair, but I always get him to be the tester for the products if there's a new product coming out, just to tell me his experience. And he uses the shampoo to shave with, and it minimizes his razor bumps when he shaves. And he also uses the shampoo 2 to 3 times a week to just cleanse his head. He wasn't doing that before, and he was getting a lot of dry patches on his scalp. And he started using the shampoo 2 to 3 times a week just to cleanse his scalp, and it minimized the dry patches. So those are just 2 tips for the shampoo. The other thing I'll say about the shampoo is if your hair is really, really, really dirty, like it has a lot of oils and a lot of waxes in it, this is not going to be strong enough to remove those oils and waxes. You would want a sulfate-based shampoo or a clarifying shampoo. So what I do, because it doesn't matter what clarifying shampoo I use, any clarifying shampoo I use does make my hair feel super stripped and cleansed. And I'm okay with that because there's a remedy for that. So what I'll do is I'll use a clarifying shampoo for 1 or 2 lathers. And then my 3rd lather is with this moisturizing and conditioning shampoo, and it softens the hair right up. And the clarifying shampoo will just remove a lot of the dirt and the buildup that this shampoo won't get rid of. So that's just a tip. If you find that this is not cleansing enough, just use a clarifying shampoo, anyone you can get from the drugstore or Walmart, and use that for 1 or 2 lathers. And then you'll use this as your last lather, and it will soften the hair right up. So that is your cleansing stage. The next stage is going to be your conditioning stage. Now, for me, I like to figure out what's going on with my hair. What do I want to accomplish? And that will determine what conditioner I use. And this is rinse out conditioner. So in the line currently, there are 3 types of rinse out conditioners, and the level of conditioning is from medium conditioning to higher conditioning. As you move from the hydrating conditioner to the restorative hair mask and the intensive hydrating deep treatment. So the hydrating conditioner is this product right here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So that's the hydrating conditioner. This offers a medium amount of conditioning, which means that I use this product in the spring and in the summer. where I don't need a lot of oils, a lot of butters, a lot of humectants in my hair just because of the humidity level in the atmosphere. So this is a 10 to 15 minute conditioner, great for detangling. So in terms of detangling the hair, your main detangling product is the detangling co-cleanse. The second to that is the hydrating conditioner. So they both have very similar detangling ingredients. It's just that the detangling co-cleanse detangles a lot better than the hydrating conditioner. So with the hydrating conditioner, I'll leave it in my hair for about 10 or 15 minutes or until I feel my hair soften. There's no need to really leave it in longer than that because it doesn't confer an extra benefit. But if you want to leave it in overnight, you can. It's just that there's no benefit to leaving it in longer. It doesn't soften the hair more. It doesn't hydrate the hair more if you do that. So there's no extra benefit, but you can definitely do that if you want to. If your wash day routine causes you to kind of break up your shampoo and conditioning steps, you can definitely do that. I know mine does. My wash day routine, I usually do a cleanse condition first, and then maybe 2 or 3 days later, I do my moisturize and style. It's just a matter of timing. You don't have to do it that way, but it's just how my schedule is. So my hair is in twists. So what I'll typically do once the shampoo is rinsed from my hair, I will get out of the shower. I do not put the conditioner on in the shower. I don't put it on soaking wet hair. You're going to have to find the right type of application process for you. For me, in general, and this is with any product that's out there with the exception of the shampoo, in general, the more concentrated the application is, the more product touches your hair, the more benefit you might get from the product if your hair needs it. If you have hair that's really fine, baby fine, and it gets weighed down with product, then you would need a wetter application of a product, a more dilute application. So what dilutes the application? Water does, and using less product. What makes the application more concentrated? More product, less water. For my hair responds best to a concentrated application of products. So that's a concentrated application of conditioners, my leave-in moisturizers, and my gels. So that's what works best for my hair. So you'll fall anywhere on that spectrum of dilute application to more concentrated. You just have to kind of figure out what's going to work best for you. In general, with kinkier, curlier hair that tends to be on the drier side in general, tends to be frizzier. These are things we're kind of combating. So what I find is that a concentrated application tends to be better. So that's how I apply my hydrating conditioner. So because my hair's already detangled, it's already twisted, and I don't undo the twist until my conditioning stage, all I'm doing when I'm applying the conditioner is I'm towel drying my hair to remove excess water. I'll undo the twists, I'll rake the product through, redo the twists, and that's what I do. If you're going to be putting twists in your hair to wash, I do recommend larger twists versus smaller twists, only because you're going to be untwisting your hair several times in that process. And so the smaller your twists are, the more twists you have to undo. So it just becomes more time consuming. So I will typically do larger twists during my wash process. But that's how I'll rake through my conditioner. So I usually use this in the spring and summer. I don't use it much in the wintertime. It's not a wintertime product for me. For me, my wintertime products are the restorative hair mask or the intensive hydrating deep treatment. So I know we get a lot of questions about when to use one or the other. This is what the mask looks like. Right? The intensive hydrating deep treat. Sorry, this is what the deep treatment looks like. And this is what the mask looks like. Okay, so when do you use either product? Both of the products are for deep conditioning treatments, which means that you're going to put them on your hair and then you're going to leave them on for about 30 minutes or so with heat. They're best used with heat. You can have a heating cap, you can use the thermal cap, or you can just put a plastic cap on your head and tie your hair down with a satin bonnet to keep the body heat trapped in. So they're best used with some type of heat source. These two products are similar but different, similar in that they're deep conditioning treatments, but their functions are a little bit different. So the intensive hydrating deep treatment it's a really thick, rich product. It does have oils, butters, humectants in it. So what they're going to do is they're going to draw moisture into the hair and try to seal in that moisture. It also has a high amount of conditioning. So I spoke earlier about the levels of conditioning. The deep treatment and the restorative hair mask have high levels of conditioning through the conditioning agents that are in there. And what conditioners typically do is they'll stick onto the hair. They will prevent moisture loss from the hair. They seal in the cuticle, and this is really important. And I think something that's missed with respect to the function of the conditioners. The conditioners restore the water repelling properties to the hair. Now, a lot of people think that your hair needs to uptake a ton of water. It really doesn't. The more water your hair uptakes, the more damaged your hair is. The more you drench your hair with water, the more you cause a fatiguing or tiring of the hair fiber. And what that means in terms of result is breakage. So it's poor elasticity. And I'm going to talk about this in a future live when I talk about hydration, because there's this misconception of constant water touching our hair. No, we don't need that. It's actually more damaging to your hair to keep saturating it with water. And studies show that the more damaged your hair is, the more it uptakes water. And the uptake of water is a super indication that your hair is damaged and prone to breakage. So these are kind of things that we have to talk about, because there's a lot of practices going on out there about drenching your hair with water. This is not the correct way to hydrate your hair. And like I said, it's more damaging. There's studies that show it. There's lab studies. There's break test studies that show that the more damaged your hair is, the more your hair uptakes water, and that leads to more breakage. So I'll get into that in a future presentation. But restoring the water repelling properties of the hair is super important, because hair that's able to repel water is actually healthy hair. That's healthy hair. Hair that uptakes water a lot is not necessarily healthy hair. It's water repelling. That property is what tends to be hair that's in a healthier condition, and the cuticles in a healthier condition. So that's what conditioners do. But then you have the oils and the butters that actually have their own benefits to the hair as well. And you have humectants such as glycerin. We use glycerin in every single product. Every product has glycerin in it, except the products that contain 100% oil, because glycerin is a humectant. It draws moisture into the hair. And one of the things that keeps the hair nice and soft and supple is glycerin. So I use it in every product, despite naysayers that say you shouldn't use glycerin. I 100% disagree with that. And people's experiences with glycerin on its own and when they use our products is completely different. So it goes to show you that glycerin in products in a good percentage actually is beneficial to the hair. If you're using it 100%, like you just go spray glycerin on your hair, yeah, it might be a hot mess. It might be a hot mess, especially if you use it in the wintertime, because what tends to happen is glycerin will pull moisture from your hair into the atmosphere if the water gradient is different between what's in your hair and what's in the atmosphere, and then it's a hot mess. So it's definitely beneficial for your hair. I use it all the time. Every single product softens the hair, tons of benefits, tons. So every product has glycerin, including the deep treatment and the restorative hair mask. The difference is that I believe this is the intensive deep treatment is, I think, maybe higher in the oils and butters. I think so. I can't remember. I have to look at the formula again. And it also has conditioning agents in it. It has a little bit of protein, but not as much as the restorative hair mask. So if your hair is damaged, if your hair is breaking, if you have color treated hair, meaning you've gone blonde, right? Or you've gone lighter, and there was bleaching to that process, because bleaching damages the hair. It doesn't matter how the product is marketed. It does not matter how the color is marketed. The chemistry to lift color involves hydrogen peroxide, and that process is damaging to the hair. It does. I don't care what the product says. I don't care what the stylist says. The chemistry is what damages, to lift the color is what damages the hair. Damaging the hair due to bleaching results in increased porosity to the hair. It results in the hair pulling in water. So an uptake of water, it results in frizzy hair. It results in really weak hair. So again, I'm going to talk about that on another live as well. Just the science of hair color and how to kind of mitigate damage. And I'm not against bleaching. I'm not against dyeing the hair, because my hair was blonde for a long time. However, I knew how to take care of it. So to me, having natural hair means curl freedom. Like I can do whatever I want with my hair, but I just have to know how what I'm doing is affecting my hair and try to mitigate those issues as much as possible. So with the restorative hair mask, I typically recommend it for people whose curls are just not falling well. They're falling flat. They're not as bouncy or not as lively as they were before. And they have some type of damage to their hair, whether it's breakage, whether it is increased porosity due to damage, whether it is hair thinning. So there's no ingredient in here that addresses thinning directly. However, what I have noticed for clients that I recommend it to is it definitely helps to reduce the amount of hair that's being lost. So that is the restorative hair mask. That it also contains keratin. So if you are looking for a vegan product, the restorative hair mask is not vegan because it does have keratin, and keratin is coming from the sheep's wool. So it is an animal source. So just know that as well. So keratin has a lot of benefits to it. It helps improve the strength of the hair. And so that's why it's used in the restorative hair mask. What I like to do sometimes is if I'm doing like a clarifying treatment, like I'm really stripping my hair of all oils and butters because I just want a clean slate, what I typically will use is I'll use the restorative hair mask as my deep conditioning treatment. You can alternate between the intensive deep treatment and the restorative hair mask 1 week to the next. You can do that. My personal favorite between the two products, though, is the restorative hair mask. I love the way it feels going on, and I love the way my hair feels when it's dried in. Now, you don't have to have the hair mask dry in. It's just that based on my wash schedule, I will typically have my conditioning treatments dry into my hair before I rinse them out just because of time. So for example, if I wash my hair on a Wednesday, I don't have time to do the whole process of rinsing the conditioner from my hair and then putting in the moisturizer and then styling. So sometimes the conditioner does get left in my hair for a few days. And what I notice is my hair is super soft after the restorative hair mask. So it's my personal favorite. They're both excellent products. It's just a matter of what you're going to use them for based on what your hair needs and also your own personal preference. So my preference is the mask. Some people have asked if you can leave in the hair mask. You can. There's nothing wrong with leaving it in, but if you're using a gel on top of it, you might get some serious flaking because there is a cationic polymer in here that coats the hair, and that's kind of how gels work as well. They coat the hair, so you might have a buildup of product. So that's the only reason why I would rinse it out. But if you want to leave the restorative hair mask in, and I've done it for days, and it's so soft. If I was doing nothing else with my hair, just leaving it in twists, then yeah, I would probably do that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to hurt your hair. So that is your conditioning step. Now, next we're going to go to our leave-in products. And we have 3 now. We have a light leave-in, we have the hair butter, and we have the coconut moisture milk. So this light leave-in got introduced in the summertime, very quietly, I think. This is what it looks like. So light leave-in right here. It's kind of bright, so it's hard to see some of this writing. It's in a pump, this for the 250 and 500 gram size. So the light leave-in there's a specific use case for the light leave-in and a reason it was created. It was created to be a product that is used underneath the gels specifically in the summer. So it has ingredients in there that are going to soften the hair, but it's not going to necessarily pull moisture in because in the summertime, you don't necessarily need a lot of moisture drawn into the hair if you're using the jellies the way they're supposed to be used. So the 2 of the jellies are really moisturizing, and 1 kind of repels humidity so that when you use it in the summertime, your hair feels really soft, even though it's got a really hard cast. So that's what that's why the leave-in was created. And also it played very well with the gel. So that's why it was created. But I also found that there were some of our clients who the coconut moisture milk and the hair butter was a bit too heavy for, and even the hydrating conditioner was a bit too heavy for it. It tend to weigh their hair down too much. So the light leave-in is perfect for your leave-in product if you have really, really, really fine hair that gets weighed down with product. It's a very light product. It has no oils in it. It just has conditioning agents. It has a detangling agent in it. So when you apply it to the hair, you'll feel that your hair is detangled. It has sugarcane extract and agave nectar extract, which are two humectants that are going to draw moisture into the hair. And it also has glycerin. So it just has conditioning agents and humectants, which are going to be nice and light on the hair and will soften the hair. So you might want to give it a try if your hair's really, really fine, really gets way down with product, and you're just looking for a very light conditioner to leave in your hair. That's where the light leave-in would come in. So as we move from light leave-in now to hair butter, you're going to get more softening, more conditioning, more hydration into your hair. So depending on what your hair's needs are, you would choose one of these products for your leave-in. Your next one is the coconut moisture milk, which is a favorite. This is what it looks like. Okay, right here. So the coconut moisture milk is a moisturizing product for fine to medium hair. It's very lotiony. It's more of a lotion-like consistency rather than a thick, creamy, butter-like consistency. It has coconut oil in it, avocado oil, jojoba oil, conditioning agents, humectants. That is it. So it's very light. It absorbs into the hair really well. So it adds that softness and that hydration to fine strands. The other thing is, with respect to the hydrating conditioner, the coconut moisture milk, is it does play well underneath gels if you need a little bit more moisture. If you need more moisture and hydration, then the light leave-in is going to give you. So if you're using it in the colder weather and you need that base layer of product to lock moisture in the hair, the coconut moisture milk is a good product to use. Next is my absolute favorite, just because I use it. I don't use the coconut moisture milk, but people that use it love it. The hair butter. I absolutely love this product. It is, every time I use it, I marvel at how amazing it is. The hair butter is a butter-like consistency, and that's why it's called hair butter. It also contains butters in it. I find that sometimes when people ask us questions about product, excuse me, they're kind of thrown off by the name, like, oh, if I use a butter, then I find that my hair doesn't respond well to butters. And I just want to get you away from looking at the name of the product and understanding the function by looking at the ingredients. So typically, in all of our leave-in moisturizing products, they're going to have aloe vera juice. They have glycerin in them. They'll have conditioning agents in them, and they'll have some form of butters or oils in them. So for us, the hair butter is just the name of the product, but the function is as kind of like a conditioning leave-in moisturizer. So it softens. It restores the water repelling nature to the hair, which is great. It seals in moisture. It'll pull moisture in and then it will lock it in because it has sealing oils in it. It has penetrating oils in it. So it has coconut oil in it, which helps to improve the elasticity of the hair, which means that when I comb my hair and when I style it, there's less breakage. So the butter is my absolute favorite product because it sets the base for styling. So the way I look at things is, you have your different phases of your wash cycle. You have your shampoo conditioning phase, you have your leave-in, and then you have your styling. So shampoo conditioner is self-explanatory. Obviously you shampoo, you do your rinse out conditioner, but you don't want to stop there. So even if you use the deep treatment or you use a restorative hair mask, you still need a leave-in product that is going to help soften the hair and keep moisture in the hair. If you use the best conditioner in the world, and you don't use a leave-on product, and let's say you have high porosity hair, and let's say it's wintertime, your hair is not going to maintain moisture because you haven't put anything in it to lock it in. That's where your leave-ins come in. That's where the light leave-in comes in, or the coconut moisture milk, or the hair butter comes in. If your hair is super thick, super dry, then you would go straight for the hair butter. Straight for the hair butter. You don't even play around with the light leave-in or the moisture milk. The hair butter is your best friend. We have some people sometimes that say the hair butter didn't work for me. My hair felt dry. I'm going to tell you why it felt dry. You didn't use it properly. You didn't use enough, or you use it on soaking wet hair. Now, remember what I said, that the way you use the products will be determined by the needs of your hair type, your hair texture. So me having curlier, coilier hair, I know right off the bat, I need more softening. I need a higher concentration. So more of the product needs to actually touch my hair strands. and I need to saturate my hair with it. Your hair will literally tell you when it's had enough product. And I go a lot by feel. I don't go by what it tells me on the jar or on the bottle to use as, a dime size amount. I don't think any of our directions say that. You have to really learn to touch your hair when it's in its dry state and when it's in a moisturized state. So you have to really get to know what your hair feels like. Sometimes when I do consultations and I touch someone's hair and they say their hair is moisturized, I feel it and I know I can get more moisture put into that hair. So really what it comes down to is really understanding your hair and what it feels like when it's dry and when it's moisturized. And I think a lot of people, they'll settle for kind of mediocre hair. I don't settle for mediocre hair in terms of the way my hair looks or feels or styling. And if it is mediocre, then what I try to do is I try to improve the next time, whether it's improving on product application or if it's improving on product in general. So for me, I know what my hair feels like when it's very moisturized. I also know what it feels like when it's very dry. And so you really want to get used to those two feels because that will help you determine how much product you need to put on your hair. So in general, you're applying this hair butter. You're not applying it like this. No. You are sectioning your hair like a relaxer application and you are applying that much product to your hair. Again, your hair will tell you how much product is required to soften that hair. Once the hair feels soft, and I'm going all the way from close to the scalp to the tip to the ends tend to be the rougher feeling, higher porosity sections because they're more weathered. And weathering is basically the progressive damage of the hair from the ends of the hair to close to the scalp. So typically if your hair is pretty long, the last 4 to 6 inches of your hair you'll find will feel a little bit rougher than the rest of your hair. And it's because of the weathering. So the more weathered your hair is, yes, it will uptake product better, but it also will feel rougher. So I really tend to concentrate a lot of my product application on the ends of my hair. And I try to seal my ends as much as possible. So when I apply product, because my hair is in twists, all I'm doing is I'm untwisting the twist. I'm raking that product through. I'm grabbing product. I'm raking it through. I'm twisting. And then what I do is after I twist, I remove excess product and I use it on another section. So what I tend to do is I tend to apply too much product and remove excess rather than applying too little product. And I always apply product to damp hair. My hair loves a damp application. So if for either the hair butter or the coconut moisture milk, it's not working for you, you want to assess, okay, is the moisture milk for your hair or do you need the hair butter? And if the hair butter is the best product for your hair in terms of moisture and it still feels a bit dry, are you applying enough product and are you applying it on damp hair versus soaking wet? So you want to you'll fall anywhere on that spectrum between soaking wet and damp. I'm a damp hair application. If you are a person whose hair gets weighed down with product, but you want the benefits of the butter, then you would do soaking wet application, but just a little bit of product. So you kind of have to learn to figure out how much product to use. If it hasn't worked one way, try it a different way. Try a different application process. Okay. So this product, any of your leave-in products, should be dried in completely first before moving on to the next step for styling to get the best results out of your styling product, which are the jellies. Actually, I forgot a product because I don't really use this a lot. Now, refreshing mist. My focus is not happening as quickly as I want it to. Okay, here we go. Refreshing mist. So when I first created this product, it was more for using to refresh curls after a wash and go, because I thought that's what you did. Just over the years, as I've done more research, studied more, and just have gotten more experience with this, I'm realizing that water refresh is not necessarily the best approach for the longevity of a wash and go product with gels, just because of the nature of gels. It just has to do with the chemistry of gels, like what gels actually are. And also, it also depends on the porosity of your hair. So I don't do a water refresh at all. I don't use the refreshing mist to refresh my hair after putting gel in my hair. I do use it, however, instead of water to put gel in my hair in the wintertime. And here's why. The refreshing mist has humectants in it. Think of it as kind of like a souped up water. So water is required to hydrate the hair, but it's not a good moisturizer or hydrator because it evaporates. So once the water evaporates, it's as though you didn't even add any water to your hair. So what's in this is humectants. And what humectants will do is will draw moisture into the hair. So how I use this and understanding, how the humectants work is I'll use it prior to applying the hair butter to my hair. So instead of water, like let's just say my hair is a little bit dry and I want more of a damp application to my hair butter application. I will use the refreshing mist to mist my hair rather than water. And I will put it in the continuous spray bottle. So I pour it from here, put it in the continuous spray bottle, and it just comes out like a continuous mist, which is just easier for me to apply. So that's how I use the hair butter. And then when I go on to my styling phase where I need to do a damp application, I don't do soaking wet for gels. Don't ever do that on my hair. It just does not come out the way I want it to, and it just doesn't last as long, and it feels dry and it feels crispy. It doesn't feel the way it's supposed to feel. So I do a damp application. I will use the refreshing mist instead of water to mist my hair with water. So that's how I use this product, but I do not use it for refreshing. I don't use it for refreshing curls because once water touches a gel matrix, gel that's formed of film on your hair, guess what happens to the gel? It disintegrates. Guess what happens to your hair? It frizzes. Guess how your hair feels once you spray water on your hair and it's like, let's say, super cold outside. Your hair feels moisturized, but then guess what? It loses moisture to the atmosphere. So I never refresh with water. I do steam refreshes. So steam refresh to me is I use the Key Redo. Love that product, but you don't have to go and invest in a Key Redo because you can use shower steam. So the principle of refreshing curls or refreshing the hair is based on the chemistry of the hydrogen bonds that are in the hair. So here's an easy way to think about this. The hydrogen bonds in your hair are temporary bonds. It's what allows you to twist your hair and it stays twisted. But if you don't use a product to lock it in, i.e. a gel or some type of styling product, then what happens to the twists over the course of the day? They get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you lose definition. This is because the temporary bonds, the hydrogen bond configuration in the hair, they're not enough to overcome, let's say, forces that are acting on your hair. They're not. So what happens is you twist your hair, it looks great in the morning, and then by the evening, your hair is untwisted or it's not defined, and you're wondering why. The reason is bonds. The chemical bonds in your hair, they're temporary, and you haven't put anything in your hair to lock it in. You know what else messes up hydrogen bonds? Water, steam. So what that means for me is that if I'm trying to refresh my hair that has a product in it that's locked in my style, a gel, if it's crushed, that means that it's been reconfigured some way. The hydrogen bonds have rearranged themselves in that crushed shape. So you know what I can use to plump up my hair or to reshape my hair? I can use water, but I know that water will disintegrate the gel, so I'm not going to do that. And I know that water eventually frizzes the hair, so I'm not going to use that. But I also know that steam will temporarily change those hydrogen bonds and allow me to refresh my hair. And so that's what I use. And also you have the benefit of steam of adding moisture and hydration to the hair. Okay, so that's why I use steam as opposed to water. But I'll use this for spraying on my hair before putting in something to lock moisture in my hair. So that's when I use this product. So we get to the last step to your your regimen, which is style. And we have four stylers. We have light jelly. No. It's too much. It's too bright. It's too bright. There's light jelly right there. We have regular gel, which is this one. Okay. We have Max, which everyone has a love-hate relationship with. And we have Perfectly Twisted Curl Styling Cream, which is this product right here. Okay, so we have four different stylers to choose from. So how do you know which styler to use? Well, in general, as we go from the light jelly to the max jelly, you're going to have an increasing level of hold. So you have soft for the light. The regular is just was the original product that we first started out with when we launched Earthtones. And then the Max is the newest one that is a stickier formula that glues the hair together. It creates a stiffer gel cast and it holds the hair for the maximum amount of hold. And then we have the Perfectly Twisted, which is a beautiful product. It is a cream gel. It has a very soft hold to it. It was created to really do twist outs, but have a nice natural soft look to the twist outs. So as we move from light jelly to max jelly, we're increasing their levels of hold, and the Perfectly Twisted kind of stands on its own in terms of being a cream gel, but also a great styling product. The product that people tend to have the most issues with are the regular jelly and the max jelly. Now, we are reformulating both the regular and the max for a couple of different reasons. One of the reasons is one of the ingredients that I usually get for the max gel and the regular gel is it's getting very difficult to get it. And so before we have none of the product left or none of that ingredient left, we're reformulating in anticipation for not being able to get the product anymore. So I'm just trying to be preemptive. And we're also doing it because of the issues of flaking that people experience with the regular gel and the max gel. Believe you me, it's definitely a work in progress. They're two great products, but I do understand the issues that people have with them. So I'm trying my best to really reformulate to maintain the hold, but minimize the flaking. That said, I have realized that the flaking happens with certain types of application processes. And so if you have tried the gel one time and it flaked, I know you want to say this is trash and throw it away, but I want you to be able to try it different ways based on different principles and understanding how a gel works to see if you get a different result. And so what I have done is I've used the gel so many different ways with so many different products underneath and different temperatures, et cetera, on different hair types and textures and different methods, et cetera, to bring you the best methods for applying the product so you don't have to do as much research as I've done. So the light jelly, I'm not even really going to talk about because we don't have the issues of flaking with the light jelly. It's a very soft hold. On my hair, it's not going to give me any definition. It'll probably get me an afro, which if I'm going for that look, I would use it. But typically I like really defined hair. So I go straight from the regular or the max. Lately, my favorite is the max because it gives me the style longevity that I need to have my hair last between 2 and 3 weeks. So here's how I apply the jelly, and it's how I found works best for most people's hair types and textures. So in general, you want your leave-in layer to be dried in completely. And this kind of shakes up people's ways of applying gel. And I just really need you to have an open mind about applying products and think about them differently than what you've been told and what you've been doing. And just walk with me through the logic of why I do things a certain way. So it's not water that defines your curls. When you get out of the shower and your curls look defined, it's because of the gathering or the plasticizing of water on your hair. But the water dries. And so you know that as the water dries, the curls go away. So it can't be the water that causes the definition. Like it's just not. The reason it causes the definition initially is it's clumping your curls together. So we know that curl clumping is required for defined hair. So that's what we can gather from that. But it's not water that does that permanently, or I shouldn't say permanently. It's not water that does that for an extended period of time because as the water evaporates, the curls go away. So I've heard it say that it's the water that clumps it. It doesn't. The water does not define the curls. The product that you put on your hair that dries onto the hair, that forms a film on your hair, that clumps the curls together once the water has evaporated, that's what defines your curls. And that's where styling agents come in. Now, you can have different types of styling agents. You can have gels, you can have foams, you can have mousses, you can have cream gels. The product that does the work in a styling agent is called a polymer, a styling polymer. And styling polymers do not get absorbed into the hair. They're too big to get absorbed into the hair. So what they do is they sit on the hair and they form a film, and they're called film formers. And so you have different levels of hold with respect to the polymer that's used. And so we use a light polymer in the light jelly and a thicker, stronger polymer at a higher concentration in the max jelly. And that's how we're able to get the max jelly to be such a strong hold. However, with a strong hold, there's a downside. Because we're forming such a strong hold and a thicker cast on the hair, what tends to happen is it tends to flake a bit easier than a softer holding gel. And so there's this catch 22 with hold. It's like, okay, I want the hold, but the flaking. So we try to minimize the flaking as much as possible by, some people will add a lot of water, but I don't find that water minimizes flaking. I find that sometimes water can contribute to flaking. And it's weird, it's kind of counterintuitive, but it does, especially if you're using a cream-based leave-in product underneath the gel and you put the gel on immediately, it just dries it like a hot mess. Like it's just a hot mess. And I think what's happening is whenever you apply your leave-in wet and then you apply your gel wet, you're hoping that everything dries clear. But you have to think of a gel as, the easiest analogy that I can think of is it's like glue. So think of if you put a cream on a piece of paper, and I know it's a bad analogy because paper is not something that absorbs cream into it, but just go with me with this one. And then you leave it there. You don't rub it in. And then you put a clear glue on top of that. What do you think is going to happen? Like it's not going to dry clear because the leave-in product did not dry clear. And that's typically what happens. And that's why you'll get flakes of product down the length of the hair shaft if you put a cream on and then you put the gel on. So what I found is in 90% of the time, if you allow your butter, your light leave-in, your coconut moisture milk to dry into the hair completely where there's no white, and then you now do a damp application of gel where you smooth, rake, and shingle. All of those steps, especially if you have really curly hair, the shingling step is important. Because what you are doing when you are shingling, or what I'm doing when I'm shingling, is I am creating individual sections of the hair. And as I pull the product through from the base to the ends, I'm adding tension and I'm removing excess product and I'm smoothing the product through the hair. So I'm creating a thin layer of product on the hair. So what tends to happen is if you don't do that and you just rake, think of raking. You're raking, but it's an uneven distribution of product throughout the hair. So in general, the principle that you can take from it is that film of gel needs to be smooth. It needs to be thin and it needs to be smooth and it needs to be evenly distributed. And the way you do that is by shingling. Some people don't have to do all that. Some people don't. I have to.